Today on Rappler, President Aquino slams opposition United Nationalist Alliance for downplaying the administration's economic gains.
They would buy families for 2,500 to 5,000 pesos. And now, even more alarming, they're buying entire barangays.
Election citizen arm PPCRV says vote buying has gone wholesale. And the Malaysian government says its security forces surround suspected members of the Abu Sayyaf in Sabah. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. President Benigno Aquino responds to criticism from the opposition United Nationalist Alliance after Vice President Jejomar Binay says the country's economic growth is only beneficial to the rich. In a press conference in Laguna on Thursday, Aquino says the trickle-down effect of economic growth takes time. He says instead of slamming his reforms, they should offer solutions. He adds, "I can't blame them for downplaying our achievements so they could say that if they were in power, it would be even better." The president is with Team Pinoy in Laguna for its second stop on the campaign trail. Of the three common candidates of Team Pinoy and Una, only Grace Poe is present. Senators Chis Escudero and Lauren Lagarda are absent a day after Binay threatened to drop all three for not attending their sorties. Aquino says of the three candidates, "We endorse them because we believe in them. Whatever the other group decides, we have no say how they run their campaign." The Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, or PPCRV, on Thursday says the group fears election preparations will be delayed because, quote, "there are more stakeholders involved than there were in 2010. PPCRV Communications Director Ana de Villa Singson says the COMELEC decided to unbundle the services for the 2013 elections, unlike 2010 where the poll body only had one major project manager in charge of election services. That was Smartmatic.
Right now, instead of having one cook orchestrate the entire thing, you have several cooks doing many, many different things.
Isn't that more?
Well, I think the strength is that it hopefully allays fears that there's something like a bit fishy because everything is consolidated with one group.
No manipulation.
No manipulation.
It's harder to manipulate
Yes.
with many.
The hard thing, though, is you're hoping that they're all orchestrating to the same tune and to the same schedule, especially.
The PPCRV communications head says there's one challenge that her group faces every elections, the rampant vote buying, which she says has evolved from retail or tingi-tingi to wholesale.
Maria, in 2010, it moved from retail vote buying, as in tingi-tingi, to families. They would buy wholesale paradigm shift. Now, they would buy families for 2,500 to 5,000 pesos. And now, even more alarming, they're buying entire barangays.
How do you verify that?
That's very hard. I'll be honest. No,
Yes.
that's very hard. We know it's happening.
Yes.
We know money is exchanged.
Singson says the only way to fight vote buying is for people to place a premium on their vote and scrutinize the candidates.
So in the end, it's examination of conscience and use of hopefully value-driven selection. Pili para sa Pilipinas. Yes.
Pili para sa Pilipinas. That's great. That's a
It's
great.
in the word, right? It's in
Yes.
our country's name. So think about your country when you are choosing.
Media personnel who will not be able to vote on May 13th because of work will now be allowed to vote ahead of Election Day. Commission on Election spokesman James Jimenez on Thursday says the poll body finalized its rules for media absentee voting. In resolution number 9637, COMELEC says the media can vote from April 28 to 30. They may only vote for senator and party list representatives. Among those who can avail of absentee voting are journalists working in print, television, radio, online news, documentary makers, photojournalists, and TV and radio production staff. Senator Panfilo Laxon responds to Senator Miriam Santiago's threats a day after she said she will use parliamentary immunity to expose Laxon's, quote, sins and sexuality in the next Congress. Citing a Supreme Court decision, Laxon says parliamentary immunity is not absolute. He also says Santiago's insinuation that he is gay is, quote, below the belt.
Una-una, hindi totoo. Kasi kung totoo, uso naman ngayon ng aminan pero bakit to aminin kung talagang hindi totoo? Siguro, ang masasabi ko lang, o bakla, baka wala nang macho dito sa mundo.
Laxon adds somebody must stand up to Santiago to, quote, defend the honor of the Senate.
Minsan, hindi naman talaga dapat palampasin kasi minsan namimiyasa na. And she thinks she can always invoke immunity by insanity.
Laxon says he sent documents to the Office of the Ombudsman showing proof that Santiago misused funds allocated to her office, but Santiago defends her use of these funds, saying it had the approval of the Senate Secretary. A landslide at the country's biggest coal mine site in Caluya, Antique leaves at least 5 dead, 13 trapped, and 5 miners missing. Western Visayas Police Director Chief Superintendent Aguimero Cruz Jr. says incessant rains may have triggered the accident at the Panian mine of Semirara Mining Corporation. Police say 3 people are rescued in the landslide, which happened when a section of the Panian mine's wall caved in at 11:55 p.m. Wednesday. Semirara says it stopped mining operations for the safety of its personnel. Rescue operations for the missing miners are continuing. This is the 3rd mine accident reported in the last 6 months, following the Philex Padcal mine spill in August and the City Nickel silt spill in November. Malaysia's government says Thursday its security forces surrounded dozens of suspected members of the Abu Sayyaf in a remote area. Home Minister Hishamuddin Hussein says about 80 to 100 gunmen are cornered in the Malaysian state of Sabah on Borneo Island, but says the situation is under control. He says, quote, to my knowledge, no Malaysian citizens are being held hostage or for ransom. He declines to confirm that the gunmen are from the Philippines, but says Philippine authorities, quote, will have to be involved in the operations. Department of Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez says they're still trying to verify information from the incident. He did not say if the gunmen are, in reality, Filipinos. What happens when a pope resigns? The Vatican says Pope Benedict XVI will lose his papal infallibility, his supreme authority in church matters, when he steps down on February 28. Emblems of authority like the papal ring will also be destroyed as if a pope had died. Vatican spokesman Federico Lombardi says the retiring pope will live in a monastery on the edge of the Vatican gardens. He says Pope Benedict's decision to live there should not reflect on his successor. Lombardi adds, the pope will surely say absolutely nothing about the process of the election. The Pope's brother, Monsignor George Ratzinger, says Benedict plans to stay out of the public eye and will probably even stop writing. The Pope meets with Rome parish priests Thursday and calls for a real renewal in the Catholic Church in the spirit of the reformist Second Vatican Council of the 1960s. And this just in, the Vatican confirms the Pope hit his head during the Mexico-Cuba trip, but denies it had any role in his resignation. Log on to www.rappler.com for more on that story. Well, now let's look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 3, U.S. President Barack Obama's State of the Union address on Tuesday is the lowest rated since 2000. This is according to Nielsen ratings. 33.5 million Americans watched Obama's address, a significant decline from the second-term speeches of his predecessors. 39.4 million viewers watched President George W. Bush's second-term address, while President Bill Clinton's January 1997 address drew 41.1 million. In general, viewership for Obama's address has declined. At number 8, fans hit DC Comics for hiring an anti-gay Mormon writer for a new Superman comic book to be launched this year. DC commissions Orson Scott Card to write the first 2 installments of a new digital-first comic, Adventures of Superman. Card has been vocal about his anti-gay views. In 2004, he wrote an essay where he said gay people were not, in his words, normal. Fans questioned the decisions of the company, which in the past is seen as progressive, with this editorial decision. An online petition aims to push DC to drop the storylines written by Card. And at number 9, the French and Italians may be famous for romance, but a global love survey says Filipinos get the most love. Bloomberg reports a Gallup organization survey conducted in 136 countries asked the question, did you experience love for a lot of the day yesterday? The Philippines claim first at 93%, Rwanda second at 92%, Puerto Rico third at 90%. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Big things are coming. The official Twitter account of Mall of Asia Arena teases an NBA game could be played on Philippine soil this year. The SM Group has been working on bringing NBA teams to the country since last year. An ESPN writer tweeted about this last week, saying the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors will play games in China, while the Houston Rockets and Indiana Pacers will play in Taipei and the Philippines. If it pushes through, Filipino hoop fans will witness live NBA All-Stars James Harden and Paul George and the player that sparked last season's Linsanity, Jeremy Lin. Passing the reproductive health law brings sexual health issues up front and center, but social stigma is still a barrier for serious discussions. Devin Wong reports.
Sex is a favorite topic among Red De La Cruz's girlfriends.
You know, they just want to talk about like, you know, what your boyfriend doing with you and how to do this and that. I've learned a lot from them because we're always talking about sex, and my friend was also a bit naughty.
Despite this, serious discussions on sexual health is still taboo. But it's the silence that allows misconceptions to, well, reproduce.
But some girl buy condom because they think that when you put your condom into your wallet, it's a lucky charm. That's what I heard from them. Really, that's what I heard from them, from my friends.
A lucky charm for what?
I don't know. To not get buntis?
Red has made it her career to sell sexy in order to promote safe sex as a brand ambassador.
It's very, very easy to get a disease without using condoms. Tell your boyfriend to use condom before sex.
The law is no longer a barrier to buying condoms in the Philippines, but the fear of standing in line with a pack might be. This condom company has been marketing condoms to Filipinos for over 20 years and says social stigma still plays a huge role in low condom use.
I hope that someday people would realize that, you know, it's a product that is there to protect them. We're not here to promote sex, but we are acknowledging the fact that, you know, more people are doing it.
Whether more people are doing it, they're certainly not talking about it.
Stigma associated with it is you're loose. You're promiscuous, you're loose, you don't have morals. That's a stigma associated with buying a condom.
Norman insists the problem is not access, but the fear of being judged.
Here in the Philippines, women are judged unfairly if they buy condoms, and to think that they are the ones who will suffer all the consequences if they get pregnant. So women should learn how to buy condoms.
Fear of judgment keeps many girls behind closed doors and looking to the web for answers. But this has its complications.
There's a danger. There's a danger because no one actually moderates the information that you get.
With the passage of the RH bill in the Philippines, the next step is changing attitudes and transcending inhibitions. Reproductive health advocates say it's now time for sex education to take centerfold. Devin Wong, Rappler, Manila.